It is the 1st of April. It is Wednesday. It is Wednesday, my dudes. I finished reading 50/50 last night, but technically this morning. And I loved it. I thought it was really good. I very much enjoyed it. I really want to read more in this series. There's quite a few. I've only read 13 and it was really good. So I was looking forward to reading this one, and this one was, it was good. It was really good. I loved it. I loved it so much. So I think this is the 10th book I've read this year, I think. Oh, I need to show you the new thing that I bought. Hold on. First things first, let's put this away. I don't really know where I'm gonna put it. Let's go up here. No, wait, maybe here. We'll put it here for now. There we go. So I bought this thing. I saw it online, and you know, it's just, this one is so loose, like yeah, it's a bit loose, but I suppose I could put a little dab of glue on it just to hold it in place. But yeah, so we need a wand. There we go. Now to decide what I want to read next. Maybe I will keep going with Rewitched. I started this in February, I think. So I only got 80 pages in. And I abandoned it mid-chapter, which is never a good thing. But I'm only 80 pages in, but I might give it a read because I'm still in the process of reading it. And then also, I'm reading Love's a Witch, which I haven't read it since about February as well. So, oh my goodness. The bookmark on it is a bit weird. I bought this like cute little dangly bookmark, but I actually cannot for the life of me figure out how to make it work. So I might read those. I may also try something new, but I don't know what. I have loads of options. I'm just always a mystery girly, so maybe right, let me see. Right, I've read all of those. I've read most of those, so maybe something from this shelf. Should I go for, the last time I read a Frida McFadden book, I was disappointed by it, so this one sounded interesting, but I'm worried I won't like it. I've been wanting to read Murder in the Family for a long time. I like Harlan Coben. I read another book by Harriet Tice before, but yeah, so something from, oh, hello, I thought I heard you coming in. Maybe, and then I've got One Perfect Couple. I picked this up in a local bookstore. I've heard that Ruth Ware is quite good, so maybe that one. Oh, Andrea Meyer put a comment on. I've read books by her. It was good, so maybe this one. I don't know yet. I'm loving how like the bluish green of these ones. Maybe we'll go for that. Let's try it and see. I'm sure it'll be good. It is Saturday, the 4th of April, and I'm going to get my hair cut today. It is kind of long overdue. I did get a haircut in November, but we didn't really take much off it, so I am thinking this time I'm gonna have to get a bit more of a chop. Like, I love my length, but the ends are pretty dead, so I'm thinking just have to bite the bullet and get a good bit of this off. So the weather is pretty crappy today, but I'm going to meet up with my mum for lunch first, and then I'm going to have my hair cut at 1:30. And then I'm going to go visit my grandparents, and then I'm just planning on having a lazy day. Lovely. And the rain's on. So yeah, so that is my plans for today. And then tomorrow is Easter Sunday, which is going to be a very, very, very busy day at work. But I'm quite lucky this year. I'm not technically working like a bar or a restaurant shift. I am going in to dress up as the Easter Bunny. and take part in the egg hunt. So I'm basically living out my fantasy of being a Disney mascot, and it's like one of those full costumes that, you know, you have a headpiece. So I'm like, it's a non-speaking role. The Easter Bunny doesn't talk. So I'm quite looking forward to doing that. Hopefully the weather improves tomorrow because it's not looking great so far. But oh well, that is my plans for today and tomorrow. I am a little bit not windswept. Windswept's not the word to use, but I was just outside for a walk and the sun has set, because even though we are this close to summer, like this close to summer, it is not quite. Like, it is 9 o'clock, the sun has set, the sky is gorgeous. Let me just take a moment to enjoy this. This light here, though, is bugging me. And, oh, as per usual, we have gained a friend. Come here, you. Come here. This is not a comfortable way to hold you, I'm sorry. Say hello. Hello. You smell so earthy. I love it. I love you. I love you. Okay, now we pop. But yeah, I've just been out for a walk, so please ignore the state of me. I'm in my jammies. I need to take my makeup off. That's been on since 9 o'clock this morning. It is now 9:15 at night. But anywho, it has been a hot minute since I have picked up my phone and recorded anything. I have not been writing, and my reading is very subpar. It's very bad. It's not great. I've not currently read anything in April, and I think in March I read 2 books. I read The Dream Home and 50/50. Love them both. 5 out of 5. Solid. I haven't even uploaded or edited my March vlog at this point. I'm really slacking. And April is almost done. It is the 24th today. But I just wanted to check in with some little life updates and also just with some reading updates. So at the moment, I am currently reading 2 books. Well, technically 4, because I also have Rewitched and Love's a Witch on the go. But those are 2 books that are very, I don't know how I would describe them. They're sort of there. They exist. I could pick them up at any point. They don't overly excite me because I'm not really into just like your sort of normal contemporary style book where, I mean, there's witches involved, so it is fantasy, but it's a very it's set in modern times. So either way, I'm more of a mystery girly. We're getting back to our mystery roots. So I'm currently reading The Reappearance of Rachel Price and The Woman in Cabin 10. I've seen the trailer for this on Netflix and clips from it, and it looks pretty good. And I saw this in TK Maxx the other day when I was in Edinburgh, and I was looking for a little book just to read on the train. So I picked up this one, and it only cost me $3.99, but I've only read the first 30 pages. That's a lie. I've only read the first 20 pages. And this was supposed to be my train read, but then it was one of those train journeys where There was a lot of yapping going on around me. I didn't have my headphones, so I couldn't listen to music to drown out the sounds of people talking. And in the end, I was just enjoying sitting on the train and chilling. So I only read 20 pages of that, but I'm gonna just put this on the back bench for the moment and focus on reading this one. I started this a few weeks ago when I was on the boat on a trip to Belfast, and I've read the first 100 pages. I read the first 130 pages. So it's pretty good. I'm like a quarter-ish of the way through it. I quite like it so far. It is the story of 18-year-old Belle, whose mother disappeared when she was 2 years old. She doesn't really remember her mother. I mean, she doesn't remember her mother at all. She was with her when she disappeared, and Belle was found in the back of her mother's car with her mother nowhere to be seen. And now, all these years later, she was in the middle of filming a documentary with her family, with a film crew that was all about the disappearance of Rachel Price. But all of a sudden, Rachel Price has now reappeared, and Belle is struggling to come to terms with the fact that her mother, who she's always assumed that she would never ever see again, doesn't even remember in the first place, is now suddenly back in her life, feels a bit weird by it, and also doesn't fully trust her mom. She doesn't trust her stories. She's finding inconsistencies with things that she's saying. So she's suddenly a bit like, are you telling the truth? Are you bullshitting? What is the real tea here? So I am really interested in it. I'm really curious to see like what's gonna happen. At the moment, it's quite calm because it's all very much Rachel has just reappeared. Belle is very off with her. She's quite suspicious of her. So I am really curious to see how it all pans out. I'm enjoying it so far, and yes, I'm about a quarter of the way through it. So that is the books I've currently been reading in April. In other news, life has taken a little bit of a little shift. I've just not been dedicating any time to my craft. I have not been dedicating any time to writing. I just don't know it's just not been happening. So I do really want to work on that again. I think it was handy in the months of January and February when I was at home a lot more. Everything was very slow and cozy, and I feel like those are hibernation months. I feel like I went into hibernation for the full of January and February, but then March was back to work, back to normal life, back into like a working routine. Still living where I'm living, still have the Keko. I mean, I'm talking like I've not been here for like 5 years or something. Good God, girl, it's only been about a month. And I do have a March vlog incoming at some point when I get my arse into gear and I actually edit it. I mean, maybe tonight I could hop into bed right now and start editing. I'm also currently editing my review of Neverlie, which has been ongoing for months at this point. I got about like a quarter of the way through it, so yeah. But that is everything that's going on right now in April. So we don't have much left. In the 6, technically 5, because today's practically done. 5 days of April we have left. I will try and read at least one of these books, maybe even both of them. We shall see. I have a couple of, all my shifts this weekend are office shifts. I don't know yet what I'm working next week. But if I get like evenings to myself, maybe I'll try and dedicate them to reading my books. But yeah, so even though I've just talked about reading books, I'm currently gonna go. I was in the middle of watching an episode of Grey's Anatomy before I decided to go for a walk while it was still nice out, so I'm gonna go and do that. I've been on a proper like Grey's Anatomy binge again. I feel like in the last few weeks I finished season 11, I've done 12, 13, 14, and now I actually think I'm on 15. This April vlog is going to end up being quite short because I've not been recording much at all. Oh well. Gecko. The gecko. This'll do. This'll do nicely. I look terrible because I'm full of the cold. The weather's so lovely and it's gorgeous and it's starting to feel like summer and I have been feeling terrible. Today is the last day of April. It's already 5 to 2 and I am starting work at 3. So that sucks. But basically, I have been trying to finish the reappearance of Rachel Price today. I really want to get it done because I've actually not currently read a book in April and I've been doing well so far this year. I've read 10 books. I only read 2 last month and I've been slacking this month and I really want to get something read. So I am trying to finish this today. It is good. Here's the thing I have with this. This is a really good book. I have read another book by Holly Jackson. I read Good Girl's Guide to Murder and I didn't like it the first time I read it and I thought it was okay the second time I read it. I did like it a bit better. I did think overall like the mystery was good and it was well thought out. I just didn't like the main character and I didn't like the way she talked. I didn't like her dialogue. She was annoying. I think my problem I have, if I'm reading a mystery book especially, or any kind of book, if the main character says or does things that I find like it's the opposite of what I would be doing and saying, it's annoying. If I have a main character that is making moves that I agree with, where I'm like, yes, we're solving this mystery together. You're asking all the right questions. You're going about it all the right way. That is perfect. That is all I ask for. When a main character is not making those right moves and they're doing their own thing, I get a little bit frustrated. And that was how I kind of felt with The Good Girl's Guide to Murder. And also I just don't like the dialogue in it. This time, I'm sorry, I can't stand the main character. I can't stand her. She is, basically, to sum it up, this book is about the main character, Belle. Her mum went missing 16 years ago when Belle was just 2 years old. Belle was with her mum and they were out for the day. Belle was found in her mother's car, abandoned. Her mum was missing, nowhere to be seen, was never seen again. 16 years later, a film crew is making a documentary based on the disappearance of Rachel Price. Belle and her dad are involved in it, and his family. And then all of a sudden, Rachel Price reappears, claims that the man who had been holding her captive for all these years has just suddenly let her go. She doesn't know who he was. She doesn't know anything about him. And the majority of this book so far has just been Belle being really cold towards her mum because she doesn't believe the story that she's telling or the narrative that she's telling about what had happened to her these past 16 years, that she'd just been chained up somewhere in someone's basement all this time. And there are little things, you know, Rachel does maybe say things that have you a little bit like, that doesn't quite tie up. And things like that. However, I'm finding the main character of Belle to be really, really, really fucking annoying. I'm sorry, I just am. I am so irritated by her. She's just, obviously she's very negative towards Rachel, which in a way is like fine because you are gonna feel a bit weird with the mum that you don't remember just suddenly re-entering your life. She's very cold and distant and sarcastic. It's just like that's just her. She's just walking sarcasm. And I find characters like that to be quite annoying. So I find her to be very cold and annoying at the moment. And I just feel she's really dumb. Like, okay, I don't know how this book is going to end. I don't know if it's going to turn out that Rachel did fake her disappearance all this time. I don't know what the story's going to be. And now the plot twist is that Belle's dad has disappeared, and we're a bit like, everyone's like, he's probably just taken off, he's burning some steam, he's feeling a bit uncomfortable in the house with Rachel all of a sudden being back, like, yada yada yada. And obviously Belle resents her mum even more because she thinks Rachel's done something to dad, like, dad would never leave me, dad wouldn't just take off, she's done something. And I think I'm just finding Belle really annoying because she is, obviously she thinks the worst of Rachel and she thinks the sun shines out her dad's arse. She's missing a lot of the like dialogue that other characters are saying around her. So for example, she was chatting to her grandpa is her dad's dad, who has dementia and isn't like a well man, and she was meeting him, or she was visiting him to ask him about Rachel, and in the conversation he's dropping lines like they didn't mean to kill her, it was just an accident. And she's like, no, Grandpa, Rachel's alive, remember? Like, she's fine. And it's like, girl, you know, picking up on this? Like, Grandpa's clearly talking about something. Grandpa's clearly talking about something that's happened in the past. And also, not a few pages before this, Belle was telling us about how she never met her Granny Price because her granny, her dad's mum, fell down the stairs and died years and years, or years before she was even born. So I was like, it was an accident, they didn't mean to kill her? Who are you talking about right now? Because I think you're talking about Granny who fell down the stairs. So things like that are happening, and other characters have said things as well where they're like, they've started to say something and Belle cuts them off, and I'm like, Belle, would you shut the fuck up for a second and let them speak? Let them cook, because I think there is something going on here, but you're just so obsessed with the idea that your mum is not who she says she is. Well, she is Rachel Price. There's no doubt about that. But her story is inaccurate and she's lying. And I think I'm just finding it really annoying, because if it turned out that Belle's right, then I will hang my head in shame. I will give her her dues, and I will. It's probably the direction it's going to take, because I don't know. Is it going to be that the main character's been wrong all this time? I don't know. I find that in like mysteries and stuff, that doesn't, well, it can happen, I suppose. But at this moment in time, it's one of those where anybody she has told, where she said, I don't trust her, I don't trust her story, nobody believes her. Nobody. And usually with a main character like that has an idea of what they think has happened, you as the reader are with them. You're like, I'm with you all the way, girl. Like, we're going together. We're in this together. I believe what you're saying. Like, let's investigate this together as a team. I don't believe her for 1 second. I think she's talking absolute garbage. Like, I think that's the only thing I'm not enjoying so far. Like, I'm going to persevere with this book, and I am really curious about what the mystery is going to be, because the thing is, Holly Jackson writes a really good mystery. I did like the mystery in A Good Girl's Guide to Murder. It was good. I didn't see it coming. There were so many twists and turns. Holly Jackson can write a good mystery. It's her characters that I can't fucking stand. No offense to you, girl. Like, full credit to you. It's just your type of characters. They're just not for me. They're not my cup of tea. But anywho, I am determined to get this finished today. I mean, it's 2:05, and I'm at work at 3 o'clock. And I've been enjoying sitting out in the sun. My dad surprised me by coming up to cut my grass. So now I've just been sitting outside in the sunshine. There's like a cool breeze, but it's really nice. And today's the first day that I'm starting to feel a bit better. So I'm just going to keep going, keep reading, and just see what happens. See what happens, because I reckon I maybe have like 100 pages to go. I don't know. I'm like this much through it. So I am a good chunk of the way through it. Maybe there's about 100 pages, probably a bit over 100 pages, but I am fully determined to get that finished today. So if I don't finish it, I'm not going to finish it this afternoon, because I only really have about another half an hour maybe. Or like, I'll give myself another like 20 minutes of reading time till 2:30, and then I'll need to start getting ready for work, which is great. We love that. But also, I just wanted to say that I was shopping the other day, and I decided to cancel my book buying ban by buying some books when I was in the works. And I must admit, the 3 for £7.50 section, I remember when it was 3 for £5, looked pretty decent. And so I picked up some books that I fear I wouldn't normally read. Here they are. So we have Sleep Like Death by, now is this pronounced Kaylin Bayron? Kaylin. She wrote Cinderella is Dead, which I remember when that took over, I think it was Twitter at the time. I think I remember seeing it over Twitter. But I've read a book by her, which I didn't realize, like, I'd heard of Cinderella is Dead, because as I say, I'd seen it online, but I'd never read it. And I didn't realize I actually had a book by this author already. I read You're Not Supposed to Die Tonight. That was the craziest book I've ever read. That was crazy. It was good and it was well written. And I remember for the longest time, I really wanted to do a review on it. It was quite short. It wasn't that long. And it was batshit. The reveal was batshit crazy. But I kind of loved it. Like, as a horror book, I loved it. It was really good. But I picked up Sleep Like Death. Eve is ready to be the Queen's sword, to be her vengeance. Princess Eve was raised with one purpose, to destroy the Knight, an evil sorcerer who terrorizes Queensbridge with his wicked magic. Far too many of her subjects have been devastated by the Knight's trickery, but Eve's own unique magic, the ability to conjure weapons from nature, makes her a worthy adversary. That's a very cool power. As she approaches her 17th birthday, I nearly read that as 7th, Eve is ready to battle, but her mother, Queen Regina, has been acting bizarrely, talking to a strange mirror alone every night. Then a young man claiming to be the Knight's messenger appears and shares a shocking truth about Eve's past. Unsure of who to trust or what to do next, Eve must find the courage to fight, but will it be enough to save her family and her queendom? I don't know, and also the woman who was checking me out didn't know if this was a standalone or if it was like they're all a series, because there's Cinderella is Dead, The Poison Heart, The Wicked Fate, which makes you think, like, I don't think it's a series. When I looked at the book, I was having a wee nosy to see if it said like as a series, but it doesn't, so I don't know if they are like together at all. This book came out last year, but I thought, a bit different. I'm not a big fantasy fan, really. I am a fantasy lover, but I don't read a lot of fantasy books, and I find I read them quite slowly. But I'm optimistic. Like I say, I really enjoyed You're Not Supposed to Die Tonight. It was just a little bit crazy, but I loved it. And another book that I saw on TikTok and stuff like that, which I think I've heard mixed reviews about it. I just thought I would give it a go because it sounds like it could be a bit fun. Assistant to the Villain by Hannah Nicole Mayher. What the hell? Mayher. I'm sorry, Hannah Nicole. I can't pronounce your surname. It just sounds kind of I hate when the word TikTok is printed onto the book. From the TikTok sensation comes a laugh out loud fantasy romance about the assistant to an evil villain and their unlikely love story. I have heard people say it's not necessarily the best, but I don't know. With her ailing father and younger sister to support, Evie Sage's employment status isn't just important, it's vital. So when a mishap with Renadon's most infamous villain results in a job offer, naturally she says yes. No job is perfect, of course, but even less so when you develop a teeny crush on your terrifying, temperamental, and undeniably hot boss. Don't find evil so attractive, Evie. But just when she's getting used to severed head suspended from the ceiling and the odd squish of an errant eyeball beneath her heel, Evie suspects this dungeon has a huge rat, and not just the literal kind, because something rotten is growing in the kingdom of Renadon, and someone wants to take the villain and his entire nefarious empire out. Now Evie must not only resist drooling over her boss, but also figure out exactly who is sabotaging his work and ensure he makes them pay. After all, a good job is hard to find. It sounds like a bit of fun. I don't know if it'll be any good. I don't know if it'll even really be for me, but I'll give it a go. And then finally, I also picked up a book I had not heard before, This Raging Sea by D. Elizabeth. I just love the cover. I love it. I love it. Briar Winters feels buried alive at Loch Creek. She's convinced she'll die there, among the waters that devoured her twin brother 13 years ago. But when the boy she's loved since childhood, Finn, vanishes from a seaside carnival, it quickly becomes clear that he's gone much further than anyone could have imagined, and an evil underwater entity needs its sacrifice. It sounds interesting. I like it. Just sounds kind of fun. I don't know if it's fantasy. I don't know if it's like modern settings. I don't really know, but it sounds kind of interesting. So I picked up these 3 books, and they're all about roughly the same length, and I don't know, I just feel like they could be some fun reads. So I think now I'm just gonna go outside and read for the final like 20 minutes or so until it's 2:30, and then I'm gonna need to come in and start getting ready because I have to be at work, which is great. I love that. I love that for me. But yeah, so hopefully things turn out a little bit better in this one. But I don't know how it's gonna end. We shall see. So last night I stayed up until like 2 a.m. getting this book finished. So technically I did finish it in May, but we're counting it as April because I read the most of it in April. In the end, I'm giving this book 4.5, well, 4 to 4.5 stars depending on what platform I'm reading it on, because the ending was wackadoodle. The ending was crazy. The ending was a bit wild. I feel like, I'm not sure how I felt about it. I think all the characters got a bit of a shitty ending apart from 3 of them. Now, I'm not saying that they didn't deserve their ending. Some people definitely deserved their ending. But there was some, it was the way I think the characters reacted in the end, especially Belle and her cousin Carter, who she was really close to. I feel like the way they were acting by the end was a bit, not OTT, actually the opposite of OTT. So I don't know how to talk about this without spoiling the ending of the book for you, but all the revelations come to light. We found out what really happened to Rachel, and it is a bit of a, oh, snap, oh my goodness. But other characters were then getting caught up in it and getting blamed when they either didn't actually know anything or they maybe had a suspicion but they didn't do anything about it. There was one that I think had a suspicion or had a bit of a suspicion, but only after Rachel had reappeared. And another character that I feel like just fully got given like a villain edit towards the end. Like, I didn't think throughout the book that they were that bad of a person at all. Maybe a bit of like an overbearing parent to their child, but I didn't think they were a bad person, and I don't believe they knew anything they got blamed of knowing, because at no point did they admit to it. And even the characters themselves seemed to be a bit like, okay, fine, maybe you didn't know, but you're still bad. You're still a bad person. And it's like, are they though? Like, are they really? And then I think it was a bit silly how one character was basically told, right, here's what I'm going to need you to do. Because if you don't leave and go to Canada right now, I'm going to tell the police that you knew everything and blah, blah, blah. Like, I never want to hear from you again. You need to leave. This is how you're going to do it. You're going to max out all your cards. You're going to take cash. You're going to go see this person who's going to give you a new identity. You're going to go to this airfield. You're going to catch a flight. You're going to go to Canada. Somebody will be waiting for you in Canada. You can set up your new life together and live happily ever after, but don't ever speak to us ever again. How is that actually going to work when one of the characters you were talking about is actually dead? Like, they're not there. They're not in Canada waiting. They're not there. They're dead. You saw to that. So it felt a little bit silly. So I was like, you think this person's not going to come back because you sold them a lie. You told them that this person's going to be waiting for you in Canada and you're going to set up a new life together. They're dead. They're not there. And then also, you guys have still finished filming the documentary that then's going to go out there where you have said in it, yeah, I don't know why all these people have left. I guess they were involved in something dodgy and they're running from it. Do you not think that character that you've sent away is going to see that documentary? And it's going to be like, this bitch? I mean, if I was them, I would know that I am guilt-free. Like, I knew nothing. And the police can't prove that you did know anything, because this was the main problem why Rachel didn't want to go to the police in the first place when she first reappeared, because there was no point telling them what her truth was, because there was no proof. And the characters involved would either deny, and one of them was unwell and would not be a reliable witness or whatever. So she didn't bother going to the police in that stage. So why anyone now thinks that, like, I'm going to go to the police now and I'm going to tell them everything. And maybe that was just an incentive to get this person to bugger off. Which, again, I still feel like the four of them could have maybe all just played one big happy family together, and that could have been the end of that. But I guess the ending they were going for was the three of them were going to have one, just live happily ever after. One little happy family, as it always should have been. And that all probably sounded really, really, really confusing because I'm trying not to spoil things by saying names, but at the end of the day, I just found it a little bit crazy. It was kind of, okay. Yeah. I stand on business with what I said about Belle. She did change in the last quarter. She realised that she was wrong, and, you know, we love somebody who takes accountability, and I would say towards the end she made the right decision. She even softened quite a lot. She became better. She became a better character to me. I got on better with her, so that was fine. I just think there were a few moments towards the end where I was just, do you know what it was though? At the end of the day, final showdown dramas. I hate, my voice cracked, the final showdown in like mystery books, especially mysteries and thrillers, where they always have that very dramatic, I mean, they have to do it, they have to. It's the final showdown, literally. It is to keep you entertained, and it's you're throwing punches. Punch after punch. Maybe there's guns. Maybe there's this. Maybe there's that. There's chases. There's this. There's that. Somebody dies. Probably it's the villain. All this happens towards the end. The latter few pages where we have to have final showdown things because the book is coming to its conclusion. And it's always very dramatic. And I don't know why I just never have the energy for it. I read it and I'm just like, okay, can we skip to like the epilogue now? Like that final showdown is always so dramatic, especially if the book itself has been very chilled. Like there wasn't an awful lot actually happened in this book. It's very, very character driven. It's very much like Belle doing the documentary. Belle's mum reappears. Belle doesn't trust her mum. Belle's investigating her mum. Now she's like a bit unsure. Things come out and yeah. And then dramatic final showdown stuff happens. And then they all live happily ever after. So I gave it 4.5 stars. In the end, it was alright. It was written well. The characters were okay. I'm not a big fan of Holly Jackson's characters. I mean, I didn't like many of them in A Good Girl's Guide to Murder, so I'm kind of in the same situation here with this one. But the mystery itself was good. I did predict a few of the reveals this time, so I was on to it. But apart from that, yeah, it was alright. It was okay. It kept me gripped, and it was the only book I read in April. So, on that note, this is the end of April. Technically, it's already May. But thank you so much for watching this video, and as always, I will see you in my next one, whatever that may be. Maybe it's going to be May.